Welcome, everyone. My name is Romina De Angelis, and I am a social and qualitative research method specialist at Statistics for Sustainable Development. This video is about farmer research networks in Malawi as a socially just model of inclusive knowledge co-creation. It was presented at the UKFIET Conference on Education for Social and Environmental Justice in September 2023. The presentation includes three main parts. Specifically, the first part introduces the concept and elements of agroecology. The second part is a video produced by Dr. Frank Tchuwa and Dr. Daimon Kambewa at Luaner as part of the Global Collaboration for Resilient Food Systems Research Method Support Project funded by the McNack Foundation. Finally, the third part will draw some conclusions on the impact and relevance of farmer research networks, especially in the context of research for sustainable development. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations defines agroecology as a holistic and integrated approach that simultaneously applies ecological and social concepts and principles to the design and management of sustainable agriculture and food systems. It seeks to optimize the interactions between plants, animals, humans, and environment, while also addressing the need for socially equitable food systems within which people can exercise choice over what they eat and how and where it is produced. Following from the definition provided in the previous slide, it is useful to compare the approach promoted by agroecology with a conventional development approach. In particular, conventional development models are based on uniformity, centralization, control, and the expansion of global markets. Agroecology instead seeks to rebuild a diversity of decentralized, just, and sustainable food systems that enhance community and social ecological resilience to climate change. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations also provides 10 core elements for agroecology that guide bottom-up approaches without being prescriptive and are rooted in local context. The elements are diversity, co-creation and sharing knowledge, synergies, efficiency, recycling, resilience, human and social values, culture and food traditions, responsible governance, and circular and solidarity economy. In the video that follows, my colleague Dr. Frank Tchuwa will present an example of farmer research networks in Malawi.
Hello everyone, I'm going to share about farmer research networks in Malawi as a socially just model of inclusive knowledge creation. This talk is being given by myself, Frank Tchuwa, and we've prepared with my colleague Daimon Kambewa from the Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources in Malawi. In my talk, I'm going to give a brief background about farmer research networks, why we're talking about farmer research networks, why are they important, the experience of farmer research networks in Malawi, and make conclusions on the lessons that we have drawn by working with FRN in the country. Smallholder agriculture in the Sub-Saharan Africa countries like Malawi are really faced with the harsh reality in terms of operating in complex contexts that are characterized by diverse socioeconomic, political, cultural, and biophysical context. Farmers there face wicked problems which are by nature very unstructured. We have no clear cause and effect. They are cross-cutting, they touch on many things, and relentless, such that we cannot solve them once for all. For example, in this context of Malawi, farmers face issues to deal with pest and disease, weak institutions, poor markets, climate variability, social injustice, and poor soils, which is affecting their productivity in terms of crops. The history of agriculture in countries like Malawi have been dominated by a model which is referred to the transfer of technology or technology transfer model. And in this model, as we all know, it begins with the researchers developing technologies, and these technologies are extended to extension workers, And the extension workers diffuse these technologies to the farmers who are there just playing the role of utilizing these technologies. If they don't, they are referred to as non adopters or laggards. In this case, basically, this model is very much top down with an emphasis on Western knowledge, which is being looked at as modernizing agriculture, and the indigenous knowledge or local knowledge owned by farmers as inferior, which is counterproductive in making agriculture improve in these areas. So let's modernize by taking on the Western knowledge through the transfer of technology model as a way to improve agricultural development. However, this model is really wrapped with so many critiques or shortfalls that characterize it. For example, it purely ignores farmer knowledge systems, that the farmers have their knowledge systems in terms of how they can manage their soils using organic materials. That is particularly ignored. And again, it takes away the decision making powers of farmers, the different options that farmers have in their context. They do not have the power because they have to wait from decision made by extension workers, and extension workers getting the technologies from the researchers, and the researchers who are informed with Western knowledge system. The farmers don't have the power or say in this whole process. At the same time, the technologies that are generated and the process of developing the technologies ignores that the different social and economic cultural context that farmers are operating. It is believed that if we produce one technology, it's going to fit all farmers in all contexts. And as such, these technologies fail for social, cultural reasons and are rejected by farmers in many cases. And therefore, the reason why we have so many studies trying to push for adoption or understanding adoption. So in this case, we are talking about the Farmer Research Network, which is being looked here as democratizing innovation, taking it away from top down, and being a more a democratic process of developing solutions to improving issues to do with cells. So this model is being promoted by the Best Bet Project, which is supported by the McKnight Foundation, an organization in the US. And the Best Bet Project in Malawi is basically supporting farmer engagement in research that identifies soil health innovation that suit their context, and at the same time support the scaling of the soil health innovation in the complex farming system, because this is where farmers operate. So there are three district areas, those in purple. So we have the Mzimba district in the north, and we have Kasungu district in the center, and another district in Cheu district is still in the central region, but here it's more or less in the south. And this is the map of Malawi. So three districts where this model is being implemented. The Farmer Research Network itself is defined by Nelson and Co. as an association of farmer groups or individuals. They work together with researchers, extension, NGO, and private, and the idea is to support the research process for identifying and sharing of solutions. And the purpose is not for adoption, but to promote the co-learning and innovation among the players. It was also there for networking. So farmers network to learn from each other, and the farmer research network is there to facilitate information and data sharing, as well as access to technical, institutional, and financial support. It is guided by three principles. The first one is that the farmers that represent social and biophysical diversity of their communities should participate in the whole research process. At the same time, the research must be rigorous, democratized, and focused on understanding biophysical and social variation. So farmers, they have to research on their problems. And then that network should foster collaborations and opportunities for learning and knowledge sharing. In terms of our experiences with the Farmer Research Network, what we've noted from this survey, which is projected here, is that it is able to engage diverse farmers' innovation processes because it's giving spaces to all categories of farmers, whether poor, rich, or better off. They are all participating in the research, and they are researching according to their status. Now, in this survey, you see that a random sample of the farmers, and we look at the control and the treatment, which is the FRNs. There is equal representation of the FRN farmers in blue in each category. So very poor, similar representation, If we look at the poor, which is in the second one here, we have almost the same representation. And in the better off category, you have 38% who are FRN farmers, and also generally 44% who are non-participant, showing that the FRN gives space to different categories of farmers to participate in research. The farmers are engaged in the participatory learning process, and this learning process is guided by the experiential learning, transformative, and social learning theories. And it's a cyclic process that is taking place. Farmers are involved in community mobilization. When they mobilize each other to be in the research groups, they diagnose and design their research. They engage in experimentation, and then they share experiences and findings from the research and conduct joint reflection to reflect on what they've been doing, and more is a participatory learning process taking place in the FRIN. The process of designing the farm level experimentation on soils is jointly done by farmers, agronomists, soil scientists, and extension workers, where they're involved in analyzing their context, identifying the gaps with existing solutions. Then they suggest new solutions, which could be science, indigenous, or traditional. They select the option to test. They agree on the type of data to collect and record, and agree on the management of the test plots in the whole experimentation process. What we are learning is that the farmers, as they engage in the experimentation, they do learn from these experiments and also form opinions about the soil health options. What is it that they like? Which one do they see is performing well? And at the same time, because the way the farmers are selected to participate in these, and the FRN is based on a 50-50 gender process where women are given space to participate. It's not just the men or clever men, but it's the women they're given to participate and learn from this process. So you can see in the picture a woman looking at the options that have worked for her maize field, the soil options that she used in managing the soil. The FRN members share information to other farmers in the community, but also amongst themselves. And you can see the percentage there, 65% indicating that yes, they shared information, and the picture showing the farmers meeting with other farmers in the community on the field to share information about soil health performance or the performance of an option on soil health in a particular area. The farmers share and discuss different options in the FRN. So these options, they are shared with extension workers and researchers, various of them. But the thing to appreciate here is that 62% of the ideas come from farmers, like issues of maize bran, ash, urine as a way of controlling soil health, while other options are coming from extension workers and researchers. But the good share is coming from the farmers themselves. FRNs are also being trying to be institutionalized in the way that they are being linked to the national extension system we refer to as the decentralized agriculture extension services system in in Malawi. So down there at village level, the FRINs are playing as an institution that would be conducting research for farmers in the community, unlike the research institution which we know as big organizations. So the FRN will help in terms of articulating farmer demands. There will be a source of information and responses to demands from the community, and also they will provide evidence on performance of options and solutions that are promoted to farmers in the area. In conclusions, we see FRN as having potential to democratize innovation because they are part of agroecological approach, which is trying to change the dominant paradigm, which is related to conventional agriculture and based on Western capitalist model of maximization. The conventional methods, they ignore environmental, social, and political aspects, which are very key in terms of agricultural development. The FRNs, they are there to change the dominant paradigm of doing research and learning. And this will be done through research and co-learning with farmers and promoting local knowledge. The FRNs are inclusive, socially just, and not only by engaging farmers and their knowledge, but strive to involve the most marginalized farmers and address gender equity. Thank you very much for your attention.
To conclude, farmer research networks exist within an agroecology framework for food sovereignty. They promote inclusion and gender equity through a process of co-learning. The institutionalization of FRNs counters Western dominant development discourses, and FRNs constitute a different way of conducting research and learning from how they are conventionally done, especially within academia. In fact, a research question, problem, hypothesis is usually answered by extracting information and conducting research, then publishing results, and usually moving on to another project. Here, there is a long-term commitment where there are a lot of factors going on at the same time. For instance, farmers are involved in trying different options with support from other experts. Someone is teaching new approaches to farmers, but they are also co-designing the research and action agenda together based on their contexts. Social aspects related to inclusion and gender equity are addressed at the same time, and links with changes in the broader system are established through multi-stakeholders engagements. In case you're interested, here are some useful resources to further explore some of the ideas presented in this video. The slides for this presentation, as well as lots more resources, can be downloaded from our website at statsforsd.org/resources. Thank you very much.